Oh, you're double thing out in those pubs for a while and get ready for the game.
You guys ready?
I am.
Yes, sir.
Ready?
All right, we're gonna get started. We will call to order City Council regular business meeting for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. It is 6 p.m. Kaylin, would you call the roll?
Sorry.
Oh.
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Brown. Councilmember Cool,
Here.
Councilmember Livingston. Councilmember Meineke,
Here.
Mayor Miller.
Here. We do have quorum, so we'll move on. Did you start the YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay, good deal. All right, thank you. Item number 2 is pledge of allegiance. Would you please rise and say the pledge of allegiance? Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 is approval of the agenda. We're going to move item 7E to come first when we get to item 7. Would anybody like to move any of the consent agenda items to the regular agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion.
Motion by Meineke, seconded by Baker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. There it is. Okay, that motion carries. Item 4, we're gonna have a dedicated work session. So this is a dedicated work session for mayor and city council and staff. Regular city council meeting will begin following the work session. Work session gets close to an hour long. We may pause it and continue with the next meeting. Item A is a discussion of future projects. So in the near future, maybe in like 3 to 5 years, we're going to be asked to float a bond issue for a new library. This is going to come up faster than we think. So we decided to do an exercise to review the known big projects that are coming up so that we can prioritize our projects. We're going to talk about our debt limit and what we can expect to see in the next few years of what debt will roll off and how much capacity we'll have. We can then prioritize the projects so that we can give staff some direction when we start talking about next year's budget. Projects we are discussing are big projects. There isn't a specific cutoff for total project cost. However, the intent is to focus our time discussing those projects that really move the financial needle up or down. You won't see squad cars or even small scale park projects on the list. That doesn't mean those projects aren't in our CIP. We're just not talking about those tonight. We're talking about the large scale projects. Council, you've seen the list of projects. So let's start off with a question for council. Is there anything you didn't see on the list that you think should be on the list?
I will throw it out there, pedestrian tunnel under Highway 28.
Oh. Is this something, should we wait since we're missing 40% of our council?
We're going to go
Think about it.
I think we can go through the projects.
Yeah, I think we can.
They can come back. We might not prioritize.
Okay.
But we'll get some ideas, get a sense. And that might be something that we may want to add you know, is that a council driven project that council wants to see on a future agenda item as far as
I think it's
a tunnel underneath Highway 28? Or a bridge across Highway 28?
whenever Highway 28 gets redone, maybe
Yeah.
we take ownership of it. It's gonna be kind of something we don't want to forget.
Yeah.
And make sure we have a good lead time, I guess is my only thing.
What else? Anything else anybody wants on the list that's not on the list?
Could we go over the list one more time?
Yeah.
That was.
Yes, okay, so yeah, my
Next
next,
this out, I did not see.
yeah, it was on the,
Oh, yesterday? I didn't
Yes.
see the, okay, yes, I didn't see that we had a
okay.
session, so it's my
Yeah,
fault.
there's, and as we go through these, start asking questions on what questions do you have for each project? Yeah. We will be-
Do you, it's up to you. Do you want to read through them? Do you want me to? They're gonna have to listen to me later.
They're listening to me now. Okay, so,
Yeah, I assume one is highest priority.
So the priority thing, I'll just let you know right now that that really is the main topic to discuss, and we're gonna go through a little bit more discussion about priority setting for now. Maybe just go through or identify what the projects are.
so, yeah, I'll read through them. So new library, estimated cost is 25 years. And you'll see that's, you know, within 5 years to start that.
25 million, yeah.
25 million for the cost. Within 5 years to start. Another 5 year is a aerial fire truck or a platform truck for 3 million. Water capacity purchase for 20 million. That'll be within the next 5 years. These next ones are all within next 10 years, or we think within 10 years. Field house addition for 8 million. Pool or aquatic center for 35 million. The Southwest Corridor Transportation, that would be the extension from Delaware on out to Fillmore to I-35. That's $32 million. The River Interceptor, continue that out. That's a $28 million project. Southwest Corridor Water System Expansion. So that would be for adding more lines for Norwalk to get water down to projects that are happening within that Southwest Corridor. New police station for $30 million. New City Hall or renovation of City Hall for 20 million. Beardsley, there's several Beardsley Street projects there. That's why 12, 16, 17, no, $16 million worth. Let's see. Carpenter Street paving. Right now it's gravel that to concrete. Chatham Avenue extension, which would be a new roadway from where it ends right now, where the new water tower site is, on out to 80th. Let's see, where am I at? East 27th Street reconstruction from North Avenue to Carpenter. 17th extension to Wright Road. That would be a new roadway. Lakewood School turn lane on Beardsley. North Avenue West reconstruction and expansion. That's from Redwood to Orchard Hill School. That would be a widening project. I'm not adding the dollar amounts in with these.
That's good because some of those are very rough.
They're really rough estimates. North Avenue, the S curve realignment. We want to kind of flatten out the S curve where it's at right now. North Avenue reconstruction and widening Cherry Parkway to East 17th. Wright Road reconstruction to from Highway 28 corporate limits. That's to convert it to an urban section, so it has curb and gutter. Sewer capacity purchase within 10 years. Mackinac expansion, that's a 20-year project. That's for the sports park. Big one is the I-35 interchange. Again, we're doing the Southwest Corridor transportation out to Fillmore. The idea is to put an interchange at I-35 at Fillmore. That's to get a lot of the truck traffic from Windsor Windows and Michael Foods out of the city and out to I-35 easier. I think it'd be a better way for them to go. That's, by the way, just as a side note, that's where Buc-ee's would go. So go sign the change.org petition for Buc-ee's. New fire station, that would be in the Southwest Annexation area. That'd be a second fire station or an expansion. A trail for the North River. We want to put a green belt along the North River, so we want to trail down through there. Splash pads, I can see 1 or 2 splash pads coming along within the next 5 years as an alternative to a pool. Elizabeth Holland indoor shelter is on the projects. Just basic maintenance. What maintenance of everything?
Miscellaneous are road projects, and it says 6 million because generally speaking, when we go and we do those over like a, I don't know, 3 to 4 year cycle, we've spent a total of about 6 million on miscellaneous maintenance.
Okay. Commercial industrial development, maybe do land purchase for the city. And for the city to participate in sale and or expansion of commercial and industrial businesses within that area. Addition for the Great Western Trail connection to get from Beardsley down to Orchard Hills. North River kayak launch site within Serenity Woods. Central Park, put an ice rink there, or we need bike rack. The big one would be an amphitheater, so we can start having some events there and like concerts, that kind of stuff. Pine Needle Park is a park in Timberview. Yes, and there's nothing there right now. It's just open field, you know, but the residents would like to see some type of equipment go in there. And then a pedestrian crossing at Highway 28, and let's say either under or over.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it would be.
Oh, a real nice one in North Liberty.
Did you?
Oh,
A
yeah.
tunnel?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have.
I haven't walked through it. I just saw it from
Just saw it.
driving by. I'll get back over there and walk through it.
Well, there's a nice tunnel off of the Great Western Trail, goes underneath Highway 28.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right by Old Army Post Road.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. This one's
It
dressed
is.
up a little nicer.
is it?
It's nice. Yeah.
But well, I'd also like to see what they're doing with there's a green belt that's in Urbandale that they're working on the tunnel underneath Interstate 3580 right now.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that and how nice that tunnel is. So. And maybe we could talk to somebody to get a cost estimate of how much they're spending for that. So, okay. All right. So those are the projects. What questions do you have about them?
You know, these are, throwing the dart at the wall on money wise, but you're using today's dollar. You're not inflating something out 10 years. It's today's dollars. Okay. Yeah. A lot of money.
I think 360 million.
Yeah.
And I,
How much do we get in a year? Good year?
so,
To put it in perspective.
Gina and I spent some time talking about this. She's got a lot of good information to talk about to bring some more clarity. And it sounds like you're ready to get into some of those dollar discussions.
I got a
Mayor,
question on the water capacity. And that's, given our growth and that sort of thing, critically time wise, how fast does that become a critical decision on water capacity?
It really depends on the amount of usage we see and what type of businesses we have locate within the community. Right. If Michael Foods all of a sudden did some massive expansion and they need additional capacity, it would ramp that need up sooner. However, at this point, what we're doing with Central Iowa Water Works is we have to give them some idea of anticipation of what we're expecting. And it really depends on how quickly some of that new capacity can come online. So, we're doing our best to predict based on what we're hearing from businesses and what potential users we have in the community. That's what we're using to estimate what we're going to need. It really depends on when that capacity even can come online on the schedule from Central Iowa.
When it's available.
So it's a round way of saying, I mean, they have a couple of ideas that, what is it, the Saylorville plant expansion, is that the most immediate
Yeah,
that they're doing? And that might be 5 years out before that is operational.
West project as well.
Right.
Right.
As far as critical, that by its nature is probably the most critical on the list. Now, as far as where you put that at in a priority, that's where those other things come in, like how soon is it gonna be available, how soon we're gonna need it. But it would definitely be on the short end of the list because it's so critical to us. I think.
It's the commitment part that comes quick.
Yeah.
That's the tough part.
Yeah, when you have to be able to write a
And-
check
and
for what.
do you get it or well, you're gonna get it. You sign up. But
I assume that they're
you
looking-
hope you need it.
I assume they're looking for some of that to dig the hole, right?
Say that again?
They're probably looking for a few commitments so they can dig the hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the general process they go through is cities, how much do you want? They assemble that, figure out the cost, and then they come back to those cities and say, okay, this is how much you said you want. Are you ready to write a check for this? That's when things lean out a little bit. Once they have that financial commitment from the communities, then that's when they proceed with the project. I'm sure there's a lot more steps to it. George, I know
Oh,
that
you gotta keep it simple, but I feel for some of those people that get in them, they have to get in the weeds on that. It can be really weedy. You're talking about all sorts of different things. We gotta figure out how much you're gonna do by rate or by financing.
But an important thing that Ed brought up was talking about why that is a critical project. And a little bit later in our discussion, we're going to talk about some concepts of how you can help come up with your prioritization. That's not the end goal today. I think today we're here just to say kind of how we need you to start thinking through these projects. But each person is going to have an idea of what's critical to them. And that's kind of the point we want to get to down the road.
So I think, yeah, this is just, this here is just the first iteration.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about all this over and over again.
You want to just pick out a project and talk about them or
Well, do you have any other questions?
not on that?
Okay.
The library, it's at 25 million.
Yeah.
What portion is that considered to be the city and what portion is fundraising? And because I'm not a fan of brand new everything. We have the spot for it. We could expand the library there at a much less cost. That's how we put it together back when we built it the first time.
So that level of detail, first of all, it's however deep you folks want to go. But at this point, what we are hoping our first step would be is just to kind of come up with prioritization for all the properties. What ends up more important? Perhaps for you, that might be a project that if it's fully funded at 25 million, it might be a lower priority.
Well, especially since it's moved up to pretty near term. I think those decisions need to be made if we're gonna try to move forward right away on it.
So keep in mind that the reason that this is all filled in with 5s on the priority
Yeah.
is because that's just to show there is no priority set.
Okay.
The cost estimates are purely estimates and the timeline to start also, that is just us plugging in some numbers. There's really no firmness to any of those. Again, that's the guidance we're looking at from the elected officials.
Okay.
You're just letting us know that that's probably on the narrow end of the stick.
Are you expecting to set priorities by the end of this meeting
No.
or?
So, Mayor, I might add, to go through some of these projects, I think if Jean, she's got a list of things that she wants to cover. And then I've got a couple items on the list. And then once we get through that, that might help clarify where we're at. Some of these details.
That sounds good.
Yeah, because Gene can tell us what we got in the bank.
Yeah.
All
On that way, since.
Let's just talk a little bit about city debt. Real exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Iowa code allows a city to issue debt up to 5% of its total assessed value. So 100% of Norwalk property values, not taxable value, which is about half of our assessed. And then the city itself, in our financial policies, we have a limit of 75% up to that amount. We can change that at any time, but that is the current policy. So I'm gonna throw some stats at you. You don't have to memorize all these. As we get deeper into these discussions, we're gonna have this on paper and you'll get a better look at it, but I wanted to just kind of give you a general idea of where we're at. So January 1, 2024 is the values we're working with right now in our current year, which is fiscal year 25-26. It just began July 1. Our current assessed value is 1.882 billion. 5% of that is 94.1 million. So that's the amount of debt Norwalk is allowed by law to issue. It's a lot. We currently have $48.3 million in debt at the end of 25 that just ended. As you recall, we just issued $10 million for several projects, and then a $1.6 million grant for Sportsplex. So that added to that. We are also scheduled to borrow about 7.5 in this current year after January 1 for our CIP projects. The big one being that South River Interceptor project. At the end of 26, with that debt and what we pay, we will have about $51.6 million in debt. That is about 54% of the allowable debt that we're allowed under by law. Our policy states that we are allowed up to 70.6 million. So we're really close at this point. We're at about 73% of our internal limit. Now, in our forecast, we have assumptions of about 6% growth and then no additional debt for a few years, well, at least one for sure. And we go down to 63% because we have some things fall off. So 10% is pretty good in a year to drop. In 28, 29, we also, again, an assumption, 6% growth, you know, something that's unknown. And if we added some maintenance type projects, I threw in $7 million for basic maintenance projects, maybe buying plow trucks, maybe equipment for 28, 29. Actually do have some debt payments falling off, one in 28 and one in 29. We dropped to 55% of that limit, that 75%. So we're going in the right direction, but then you see this list up here. So that's just some, again, those are some stats. We'll put these on paper when we get into deeper conversations. Also wanted to tell you that, talk a little bit about projects that require a vote versus projects that don't require a vote. State law or Iowa code defines these essential purpose or non-essential purpose. But first, before I get into that, anything $910,000 right now because of our population, 5,000, population between 5,000 and 75,000, you can issue up to $910,000. Sure where that number comes from, of debt without even any, whether it's defined essential or non-essential, you can issue debt for $910,000. And that's going to go up every year with a CPI factor. So essential versus non-essential. Essential corporate purpose are for like basic city services, street repair, construction, solid waste, sewer, water, repair, police, fire equipment, ambulances, things of that nature. General corporate purpose, which are considered non-essential, are buildings. So like city hall, library, it's, you know, essentially you can buy a fire truck, but to house it, you have to vote to house it. So, that was me. I have the sand. Parks. Parks is a bit of a gray area. If it's a new park, it requires a vote, but if it's an improvement, it does not. And so, you know, we have a lot of areas where we just have like a basketball court or maybe some soccer goals. So I talked to John Danos about that, and he's like, that's something we really need to talk about at the time and to decide whether that requires a vote or not.
And when you say a vote of the voting public.
Yeah, a vote of the people. Yes. 60% is required. It's typically required 60%. Mhm. Now, the field house generally would, you know, obviously, we didn't have to vote on that one. That one was tied to economic development. So we were able to use TIF revenues to pay that one off. It could have been subject to a reverse referendum if someone would have submitted a petition, but no one did. So we were able to use that, and then we pay that back with TIF revenue. So I guess the safest way, if you really want to know if a citizen wants a project or if the citizens want a project, is put it on the ballot, I guess. And then like 60%, you just ask that question. The cost of election is about 10,000, 8 to 10,000. One thing you need to consider, so the library, for instance, you know, you say within 5 years, when that does go to a vote, you have 3 years, I believe, to start that process. There's a number that you put on the ballot, it cannot increase. So, you know, you're 6 years away, going too soon can be problematic in that regard.
You put more than one thing on ballot for the time.
It has to be the general election.
But you could put numerous bond issue requests.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you
yes.
Combine like the library and a splash pad,
Yep.
something else into one.
Usually not a good
Yes.
idea though.
Right.
I don't know.
Depends on what it is.
I don't know, you bring in more,
We bring in more interest.
you bring in more interest from other parties to vote yes on something.
But you got options.
It's also important to recognize that we're talking about city bond issues. If the county was going to do a bond issue, if the school was going to do a bond issue, all of those entities are now restricted to only having ballot requests at the same time in November at those general elections.
That's
new in the past.
Sure, right?
House File 718.
Right.
Yeah. So past couple of years.
So, yeah, did you see that about 4 times a year to do it, or a couple?
It used to be, there was
Yeah.
several, yes.
But now it's the general election.
So if we know that the school is going to do a bond issue, it is. We probably shouldn't do a bond issue at the same time.
That's probably a good idea.
And I think you said something about next year, they're gonna do one?
Yes. Okay. Next year, the school will do a bond issue next year.
Well, if you decide that, then you just mixed yourself out of a year. So then it's every other year,
Maybe.
if they're not.
Right.
Why not? What is the devil's advocate? Why not do it at the same time? If it's something that's wanted or needed, and you can sell it based on its properties.
Well,
If you're looking at, okay, my property taxes are gonna go up this much, or my property taxes are gonna go up that much. They're always gonna do this much, and the schools.
It is what it is, and the people need to see it.
I understand that.
Okay.
but if you want to be successful, the
You're
odds,
gonna wait a year anyway.
the odds increase markedly.
If you don't try, then you miss out on 2 years worth of time before you can run it. So if it's not needed in 2 years, it probably wasn't needed to begin with.
I don't agree with that.
Well, I'm within a relevant range. Yeah, we have a lot of things here that 5, 10, 20
Right.
years out. Yeah, this really significantly changes things if you're in a 2-year window. So you have a 3-year space. If the school takes this and we're right here.
Yeah.
Then it's 3 years, or 3 years before you can go in a 2-year span.
That's assuming that the
School is
the
actually
school's
gonna do
doing
it.
every other year. I doubt if they're gonna do.
One.
I feel, you know, I feel like we spend as your management team with the city, we spend so much time around budget planning and organizing when those projects can happen, which departments are ready to go on their projects. I feel like we have a pretty good process of organizing the timeline on those. So I feel like this is kind of that first huge step that once council says, this is our top priority, then move on to this one, then to this one. I think at that point, we're off to the races and we'll figure out a way to work out that timing. Now, there is one key thing that you said, and this is a great opportunity to bring it up. We cannot sell projects. That is a very important term that we need to share with everybody, that we can provide facts.
Yeah.
But we cannot sell a project. If we go out to, if the Rotary Club says, we want Jean Strable to come in and talk about the library proposal, she can come in and say, this is the square footage. This is the cost of the project. Here's where it's at. Here's the timing. These are the facts. Now, if she were to go into the point of saying, here's all the problems if we don't do this project, and if it becomes a sales pitch, that goes into more of a borderline illegal way for us to present that information. So we really have to make sure we're keeping to the facts. Now, if she has friends of the library that show up,
There you go.
and they independently are trying to fundraise and make a different type of sales pitch, that's completely different.
Should be, but it's always helpful to have allies that are out in the community saying, yes, we need this.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and to have it organized.
The school, a lot of times, you know, that they have athletic boosters, if it's an athletic type project involved, or PTA, PTO, those types of organizations are good with selling the project.
Yeah, and it comes down to grassroots efforts. That's what get those big projects done. But that takes citizens coming together saying this is important enough for us to move it forward.
That gets into the thing that Baker was talking about, of public support. Is there enough public support there to get something going? I think on the money side, what I'd be interested in is the capacities, you know, when those different capacities fall and how much they are, that you might have an opportunity to do something. Because that would also see where we could kind of shoehorn different projects in. You know, I realize the staff probably works on that pretty close. But from our standpoint, you know, trying to look big picture, right? Then, you know, maybe one year we do 2 or 3 projects. Later on, we do the big one or vice versa.
Yep, you're describing it accurately.
I think I have a pretty good voting record, but when's the last time we voted for a bond issue? I don't remember it.
It'd probably be for
Orchard
the
Hills?
public safety building.
It would have been before my time.
Probably
We have not one since I've been here.
I think it was,
Thing for a while.
that was the
The
public.
motion stadium?
School did the, not the stadium,
That's it.
impact,
I was on the school board.
impact was the last one for for their field house.
And we won it,
Gymnasium.
Before that, it was Orchard Hills.
and we won that by 1 vote. Or
That was the same one.
What was that?
Orchard Hills,
won that by 1 vote.
Wow.
They were
Back time,
separate.
how many years ago was that?
what's that?
That election?
4 or 5?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe how many people in town said they were that 1 vote. But that's okay. I was glad.
It's been a while, but you fire up the, you get a committee going to push it and.
You know,
have at it.
the school district has shown that a good way to pass a bond issue is to provide improvements everywhere. You know, they had impact. There were improvements to the middle school with that, I believe. Orchard Hills was in there, so you're getting the full range of the student population, their parents saying, yes, we need this. So
The other thing the school does is really smart is they do a lot of surveying.
a lot of what?
Surveying.
Yes,
of parents.
yes, they do.
And so, usually they're gonna come back and tell you what's bad, right?
But they spend a lot doing that. That's part of the
But,
problem.
yeah, but,
$40,000 to know this? Seriously?
okay, well, the reason they're wanting to know this
Yeah.
is because they're laying the groundwork for the campaign,
Yeah.
right? So they turn around and say, well, you told us,
Are you
right?
allowed to sell it?
No.
No,
No.
but their
Same
boosters
thing.
can.
But the boosters can.
The school can't, the boosters can.
Surveys is, the surveys are there just to get data, to make a decision.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll go with that.
I've got a
That
couple.
sounds good.
Pre-vote.
So, before we move on, do we have a column that says whether the project would be a bond issue or essential corporate growth?
No,
Essential. Let's put that in there too. That way we know.
Just to check.
Good idea.
mark it off.
did I put on there that it requires a vote?
Oh, maybe you did.
No,
We talked
No.
about that. I don't know why we didn't.
I think
That was-
because
it
it
was
can be a
essential
gray
not-
area.
It's in there.
That's your non-essential.
Yeah. It should be on there, 'cause that's what I was looking at.
Oh.
Is that over there? I don't
No.
know.
Can just be balanced across. Oh, no, I was looking at the phases. Excuse me. Take
Okay.
that back. Phased in as opposed to one shot. Was wrong. Couple hours.
So, what do
Go
you
ahead.
got? No, what do you got?
Couple things, kind of point of clarification. Debt service for water and sewer projects is different than debt service for property tax paid bond issues.
Those are revenue bonds, they're called revenue bonds and they're paid.
So those aren't part of the numbers you gave us then?
But they count against total debt. Do they count against?
They do
total?
not count against general obligation debt.
Okay,
No, those weren't part of these numbers that you gave.
so they're not a part of the,
Correct.
they're not subject to the $94 million capacity that we have currently.
It can, I mean, we can use general obligation debt for water.
Okay.
It really depends on the purpose. Sometimes we do for, so like North River Sewer,
Mhm.
trunk, we're using TIF debt or TIF revenues for
Okay.
that. So we're not using rates or utility revenues because it's economic development. So there are some exceptions.
Okay.
And that is general obligation debt, but it's just paid back by TIF.
Okay,
So that goes against our capacity.
that one does.
Now, this is a wild question. I know this is gonna be,
Am I gonna know the answer?
if
Probably.
if city council wants to lower property taxes, does that impact the amount of debt we can take on?
Well, there's a growth factor in there. It really depends on how much we grow. We grow, a lot, and that percentage is double digits, not necessarily. If we don't, if the legislature maybe reduces the amount we can borrow or not borrow, tax or grow, that's more likely to happen, then maybe we'd have to increase taxes. So it really depends on,
And it
growth
depends,
is such a, the amount we grow, is huge.
and probably the biggest factor, I think Ed brought up back from his days when he was part of the budgeting process, I'm sure he remembers, when you retire debt is also a huge factor. It's possible if you time it just right, if you take on new debt as you're retiring old debt, there's no change functionally.
Cycle every 5 years. We have been growing so fast recently that we haven't been able to do that, but that's something that we could potentially do in the future.
Debt service grows at a different pace than our general fund as well. Because anything that we use TIF dollars for, debt service is protected levy. So even if we said, hey, company, we're gonna give you all of your property taxes back through TIF. It's not actually all of their property taxes, it's all of the available levy debt service is protected.
It's a huge benefit to us and the school.
This, okay. So with the school, I'm putting my school board hat on. It's an old hat. The school board has, well, the school has a debt service limit of 405 per thousand. We don't have that. We have the other of the 94 mil, the 5% of
Of
assessed value.
total value.
Okay,
We have a much more generous ability to, we can essentially, as long as the value is there, total value in the community, we have the ability to raise that service levy essentially as far as you want to go.
I think it's 15, and we'd set it there every year.
yes.
So
And they're still doing it. They're still doing
still
it.
doing that today. So when they have a bond issue, they got to increase their debt service levy. No, it's at the max anyway.
Right.
It's just been paying down.
They pay down debt really quick.
Yeah.
So that they can turn around and issue more debt.
Art?
Yeah, well, actually,
It is.
yeah. But it keeps it even, or even keeled tax rate. That's the max, but
Good. So I have,
Go.
next item I'd like to go over.
Go for it.
So not too long ago, one of the things that we spent some time talking about was our city council strategic vision. And one of the things that myself, our management team, your staff, what we try to accomplish is when you outline goals for us, we try to accomplish those. So as we're going through this process of prioritizing projects, it might not be a bad idea to keep those 10-year vision or that 10-year goal in mind. Are these projects accomplishing the goals as well? There's a certain project that is moving towards one of those that might make it a little bit easier to rank that higher on the priority list. So those are it. We can bring those up as reminders or send that out to council as well. The main thing that, actually, the next thing, I think, Gene, you wanted to talk about the things that we know, what we don't know.
A few things I was thinking of as we were going through these projects that I thought would be good to keep in mind is we have known knowns and we have known unknowns. The known knowns are we have a ton of projects, unlimited projects, probably really. Another one, known is we don't have enough money. We also know that not everyone will agree on the importance or the priorities. And we also know we need to maintain what we have. So maintenance is a big part of this. Even though we look at these projects, we have a lot of things we need to maintain and keep up on, and there's an expense to that. Sometimes those cost a lot of money. Some of the known unknowns are growth. You know, we are putting in our forecasts. You'd mentioned spreadsheet showing when things drop off. We do that. I have that. We've been putting in 6%. We don't know if we're gonna grow 10%, 3%. Even if we grow 6%, we may be limited to 3% by the state. We don't know. So that,
19, right? Yeah, because I haven't heard us even mention our growth is capped as 3%,
right.
718.
Don't worry about it. They're gonna change it next session.
Probably true.
Well, that's another known unknown, the legislative impacts. We know they can make change. We don't know what they're gonna do, we don't know when, we don't know how much. New projects will pop up, that's inevitable. We more than likely will have different people in this room, elected and non-elected by the time a lot of these projects come to fruition or the ability to pay for them. So priorities can change. Another thing I thought is, we focus on our core values, our mission, our strategic plan. Do we want to increase taxes? Are we able to? Something a necessity or is it a luxury? And then flexibility, I think, is really key. We have to adapt to changes and do we want to finance something 10 years? We want to finance it 20 years. I think a good rule of thumb is to look at the life expectancy of a project. Infrastructure and buildings, maybe 20 years is okay. But vehicles and equipment and plow trucks and things of that nature. We probably shouldn't be going into a lot of long-term debt for those, so. Maybe 3 to 5 years is a good rule of thumb, so. I guess just known knowns, known unknowns, strategic plan and flexibility, I think is really important, when we're looking at these projects.
Okay, so want to be clear that our expectations from the elected officials tonight was to not come away with for us having answers. It was more to get you familiar with some of the kind of these core basic pieces of information so that you can go off, do a little bit of homework from these projects and identify some priorities. What would be excellent is if a month from now, all the elected officials came back to a work session and we just went down the line and on this project, 4 priority, 6 priority, 7 priority, and we could line them all up, take the average. All right, we know all the priorities. That'd be great if how it works. I think that what I've noticed from a few people, some staff that have a discussion about these different projects, is there tends to be comparisons of projects. Well, this one probably should be a higher priority than that one. Or this one I prefer over that one. But when you get down into it, trying to identify, well, why is that one more important? So I did a little exercise that just a sample. I'm not suggesting that this is how you prioritize. I'm giving an idea that if you decided to adopt this, each of you could come up with your own criteria. What I did is I jumped in and I thought, all right, what might be important for somebody on coming up with different categories? So I plugged in there, number 1 value would be healthy citizens. Number 2, I'm an infrastructure guy. I figure you put in the streets, the water and sewer, you let business flourish, and pretty soon you're going to have a successful community. So infrastructure was a high one. Crime prevention is huge. It's great to have police officers out there, but if we can just prevent the crime from happening in the first place, that's certainly a positive. Things that accomplish council goals, that is certainly high value. Things that will generate revenue, things that make citizens happy, things that build our commercial tax base, government efficiency. This one's a little bit gray. You might view that as, are we building something that's going to require a lot more operational expense? That's probably not as efficient as building something that reduces the amount of staff that we may need in the future. And then, is it unique? That's something a key I've got hearing from city council in the past is we want our community to be unique. So I went through each one of those. Oh, sorry. For each one of those and the score. So if the value was 1, the score got the highest number. And so I just went through each one of these of where they might score across all the projects. As you notice, City Hall, I couldn't find a single one that would get a score. That was kind of interesting. That's the building I operate in, but it's still, it was hard to find a number. All those infrastructure projects, very similar. And even the parks and recreation, the trail projects tended to be very similar. So after you score all those, you come down to the bottom. It takes total scoring, and then it identifies, or there's just a simple calculation that gives it a number from 0 all the way up to 10.
Dumb question. How is Pool Aquatic Center crime prevention? Because it gives them something to do?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. I've tried to explain to folks when people talk about even the library, and I brought that up, or many of our parks and recreation programs, that if you go to communities where there is no recreational activities, when there aren't programs for children to do, many times those are the kids out that start tossing rocks, start doing more vandalism, start causing more damage in the community than they're doing.
Yeah, you know all about that, Baker.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, this was purely an example, and that's what you're saying. So you're questioning, yours might look completely different. I'm not saying that those items of importance, none of those things might be on your list. I'm just saying that if you want to come up with your own list to put in there, if you said, hey, I like this mechanism, you put in your list, tell it to us, we'll create the spreadsheet, and allow you to score it across there. It would be a way for you to make it a thought process. Maybe you come up with your own mechanism of scoring.
I like it. Yeah.
I do like this. The problem is we still don't know a relevant range of. I can come up with 1,000 expenses that are all needed at my house, but it's all limited by the amount of revenue. It might be more, it might be easier to actually look at the essential items first and then look at the luxuries or the wants versus needs, so that kind of stuff.
Isn't that exactly, Jean, I used those exact words earlier. She said it may come down to just wants or needs.
I mean, if we're only getting 3% increase, I think this is very pie in the sky. A lot
But
of
I think
it.
when you're doing this, Brian,
It's for such far out.
forget about the money for a second and just put
Okay.
your priority.
All
Then
right.
we have
That
to,
makes
then we have to assign the money to it.
Okay.
Right. The priority doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna laugh. It's
I mean, I'd like to think that when you're done with this, we're gonna end up with a list of 1 to 40. And Gene's going to say, we can do the first 4 within the next 5 years. And then we can do the next 3, 4 years after that. I think the math starts to figure it out for you after you have your list.
In the next 49.
So the number one project may not happen for 10 years.
After you
Just
try to
don't.
run again and get elected, you'll come back.
You've done an excellent job of describing the decision matrix. We use it in emergency management all the time. The thing on the left-hand side is your criteria, right? I would suggest that whatever criteria we come up with, we should take a look at that statement on the back wall. And our priority or criteria should orient on that statement, right?
Yeah.
And we're not gonna have the same criteria because we're different people. And that's what'll make a lot of difference. But yeah, you bet, this is the way to do it.
So, do you understand your assignment?
Mhm.
All right.
I've already talked to our 2 elected officials that couldn't be here. And I explained that, well, first of all, through YouTube, they can watch. I feel like they might fast forward on some of it, but they can go back and watch some of this video to get the explanation, but I can also chat with them and give them some perspective.
We got it done in less than an hour there.
Yes, we did. So, everybody good?
Good.
All right, we're moving on. Item number 5, welcome, we got some public comment. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate you participating in the local government, and thank you for, watching the whole exchange with the prioritization. Hopefully you learned something as far as what's coming up in the future. We'll go ahead and open up the day at this point in time. If you wanted to address city council, myself, for non-agenda items, we'll give you a 3-minute time limit. Realize we can't take action on those tonight because they're not on the agenda, and that would be a violation of open meetings laws. Also, if you'd like to comment on something that's in the consent agenda, now would be the time. So any takers? Seeing none, we will move on. Item 6 is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Meineke, seconded by Baker. Caitlin, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. I'm gonna do this again tonight, but I'm gonna wait for a 4th name at least for a little bit and then realize that there's only 3. Okay, item 7, old and new business for consideration, discussion, of possible action. We're gonna do 7E first. Let me get to that real quick. Let's see, it's a resolution approving an extended parking waiver agreement for Windsor windows and doors. So we've extended this parking waiver before. However, the tornado and other plans have pushed back Windsor's plans a bit. They're asking for an extension to their parking waiver agreement. Luke, you got anything to add?
Not a lot to add, just this was one of the things that came up on our tracking of agreements thing that Lindsay does a good job of keeping track of. So we reached out to Mark with Windsor Windows and had a discussion. He's here today if you have any questions about their future plans, but from a staff perspective, we feel like it's appropriate to approve that waiver.
What questions, Councilman? Any public? Well, okay. Any questions for comments from public? Can I get a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna give the motion to Baker, seconded to Cool. Any further discussion? Caitlin, would you call roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries. We're done. Thanks for stepping.
Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
Item A, it's a public hearing regarding the West High Road subdrain retrofit project. So we'll open up public hearing at 6:54 PM. Let's see, we've seen some issues along West High Road, and Wayne's team has traced this to inadequate sub base and subdrains for the street. This project is going to add subdrains and backfill to the street. Public Works has described this as a pilot project aimed at helping us determine if this type of retrofit can extend the life of pavement. That's a long-term idea. The short-term indicator is if we see less water seeping through the pavement cracks after rain events. This retrofit is only 1/2 of the pavement, so we will have clear visual indicators of the impact. So Wayne's not available this evening. Luke, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. Wayne had an exchange of questions with one of our elected officials that couldn't be here this evening. Jackie had sent him several questions and he gave some great responses. So Jackie sent me the email and she requested that this be read on the record since she couldn't be here, but so everybody else could hear it. So I apologize. Wayne did a great job of responding to these, so I'd just like to read them. First question, how is this different than the Ridge? The answer is this area of Legacy was built mainly in 2015. The roadway is 10 years old and is made from concrete cement. This West High Road project is not a full pavement width reconstruction. For the most part, the driving lanes are remaining. We are only removing the curb and gutter portion on one side of the roadway as necessary to install the sub-drain behind the curb. It is mainly a storm sewer project. There is some patching planned to replace both broken panels. The curb and gutter is being replaced because removal is necessary for installation of the sub-drain at back of curb. It is not being replaced because it has failed and needs replacement. Blue Stem and Prairie Sage are 20 years old. They are made from asphalt and are far more deteriorated. Blue Stem and Prairie Sage are in condition that maintenance is not a good use of funds and reconstruction of the entire roadway is necessary. The Ridge project is for full reconstruction of the roadways, new trail, storm sewer, and subdrains. The pavement, including curb and gutter, are being replaced because they have failed and are at the end of their useful life. We have not included special assessments on our annual street patching projects. Projects where we are removing pavement due to lane additions, widening, example, North Avenue and Highway 28. And on projects where we are only removing portions of the roadway. Special assessments have been included when we are replacing the entire street section as part of a large reconstruction project. Our assessment code states when the city undertakes a capital improvement project involving street reconstruction or replacement, the cost of such improvement shall be shared by the city and the benefiting property owners through special assessments or other means. I'll leave it up to other people to determine if we've been interpreting the code incorrectly. We could ask our city attorney to amend the code to make it more clear when we should or should not be including special assessments. Next question, why was the road constructed without granular backfill or subdrains? Our subdivision code does not require granular backfill or subdrains. I don't know about when West High Road was constructed prior to my time here, but we do now require a geotech analysis to evaluate the soil conditions to determine if subdrains are necessary. The reports almost always come back showing subdrains and granular backfill is not necessary. It's only been a handful of locations within specific areas of plats that we've had the ability to require subdrains and granular backfill. Next question. Was this anticipated and planned for in future development and reconstruction? Staff is currently working with V&K to update our subdivision standards, and we are going to recommend we require subdrains and granular backfill for all new roadways. Part of the reason for this is due to the fact that we have so much irrigation occurring. The geotech reports analyze pre-construction conditions, so it's essentially analyzing farm fields. They don't take into account the thousands of gallons many residents put on their yard every month. This irrigation softens the subgrade and leads to premature pavement failure. Next and final question, is this something we can do in the ridge to resolve the problems there? Unfortunately, the ridge pavement is in such bad condition that full reconstruction is really the only feasible option. We could do a similar project in the ridge, but the pavement is already in such bad condition that I think it would still continue to deteriorate. Full reconstruction would require removal and replacement of any subdrains, so we would be losing any recent investments made in the roadway. A subdrain project in the ridge was probably an option 10 years ago. On West High Road, the pavement is still in fairly good shape, and I believe we can save the pavement if we complete the subdrain project and capture the subsurface moisture.
I would like to amend, you made one statement. The area in front of my house collapsed 10 years ago. It was 10 years old, not 20, when it started to collapse and fail. I was going to compliment this group on, leave to Jackie to bring up the letter, to compliment that this is the way this should be treated, the way we're doing it here. And not bring up, I don't even want to go into it because it just makes my blood boil. Thank you, Jackie. That's good.
Other comments?
So we're gonna do this subdrain and backfill and all that kind of stuff going forward pretty much. But we still have the requirement to have this company come out and tell us that the farm field is okay.
I don't believe that there would be a requirement. Tony may have some input, but it's my understanding if we are requiring subdrain and subgrade, subbase on all the projects, there would not be the same need for a
Okay.
geotechnical report.
I just want to make sure, okay.
Is that a safe?
Well, we would still probably require a geotechnical report because there's other factors that go into the pavement design itself.
Okay.
So it's nice to have that, and that's in the works, and that's something that those changes to the subdivision regulations will be something that will come before council. And you'll have the option of approving those changes, which is gonna be more significant in terms of construction costs or modifying that in some way, maybe using a geotechnical report, and then maybe we have some latitude to require it regardless of what that says. But as Mr. Baker said, yeah, this is a way to do it. Well, not quite, but we wanna do, this is more of a preventative maintenance project after the fact. We wanna do it at the beginning construction, it'll be even far more effective.
I think
There's a cost associated with it.
we've learned that the backfills and the subdrains and all that is a way superior thing. But we obviously didn't have that in the ridge in that regard. But I'm not positive that all these homes along here have irrigation anyway. They do not strike me as homes that would have massive.
I think most of them.
Most of them do.
Well, I think the engineer brings up a good point, though, that like 4 or 5 years ago, I think, we discussed road standards of construction.
And they change over time.
And we talked about, making certain requirements. And the council kind of compromised and they said, well, where they're needed. So, we'll do the test, right? And then where they're needed, we'll require that they be done. Because we didn't want to just have a hard and fast rule, evidently, that these will be done. But I think it'd be a good idea for us to go back and visit those road standards again. And like they're saying, well, these were done a while ago, and they were done a while ago. So your standards are different a while. They're even maybe not as stringent as they are now. Certainly weren't when those ones were done out there.
We're gonna be bringing that to council one of these days.
Yes, sir.
So what? So we're approving some plats today or eventually here. What will they have the sub drains and the backfill on those projects? That's my question.
Yeah, I missed the first.
Like the new projects that are coming up, but we still haven't brought the new standards to the council. We've got to approve. So what's going on right now? So when the next project starts, whenever it starts, are they gonna do subfill or sub-drain and backfill?
Well, yeah, that's a fair question, I guess, and it depends when we implement those division standards and the status of our subdivisions, you know, typically at the preliminary plat stage is when we define those requirements. And so then there's phases of development that happen within those plats. So we have a lot of current subdivisions right now that are really partially constructed based on their overall plan. And so most likely those will be by today's standards. So it's when we implement that everything in the future would meet those standards. And we've come a long ways really with this geotechnical report. We are getting subdrains in a lot of areas. We've got specific requirements that we've added to our subdivision regulations when and where they're required. So it's not just the geotechnical report saying yes or no. We've got specific requirements, but we want to do more than that.
I think the council, when it gets in front of them, will have a discussion regarding implementation schedules and how that's going to be implemented, because I think the council will have some discretion on that. On the requirements is clearly, if you make it effective immediately, you know, some of the projects that are already budgeted and commenced, it could have a big adverse impact to them, but also, you know, any future project is going to claim it's got a big adverse impact.
Yeah.
So that'll be a council decision on how and when it's implemented.
We had a method that we did when we did the bigger subdivision update that was kind of a staged approach that I would assume we would take a look at using that again. Development community definitely talked to us a lot about the need for that when we were changing some things that were going to have financial impacts.
There's so many levels to this plan here that there is no way it could ever be assessed. This is a complete thoroughfare that's benefited by all these people up here. It would be impossible to charge these 30 people or whatever it is, 20 people.
Yeah.
Just further evidence. I can't even believe she brought it up. It needs to die.
Fair enough.
What needs to die?
This whole special
Assessment
assessment crap.
Oh,
Otherwise, at what point, oh, I'm fixing the street here. We need to assess that guy.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, there is no way. You talk to the other city managers, mayors. They're just kind of laughing at us, but whatever. I don't know. And I don't mean Des Moines. I could care less what Des Moines does.
But I would assume we have plenty of preliminary plats approved that are going to be subject to our standards.
Current standard.
Or current standards, I should say, yeah. Thank you.
Yep, we update those.
That would have, well, hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I hate to have a lot of roads where we have to go back and do this 10 years later, or 15 years later.
The longer it takes to implement the new standards, the less new plats will be caught under the new standards, and we'll be able to still build under the old standards. So I guess if it's a council priority to get it done sooner than later, then it needs to get done sooner than later.
But it should be a priority.
I think it's a good idea to fix this street though, if we can do it. Try to save it from deteriorating.
Okay, let's get back on track. Kaylin, have we received any written or oral comments on this?
No.
Okay, any public comment?
All right. I'm impressed.
State your name and then you got,
Arthur Prouty on Redwood Drive. I live by a cornfield and I see that red line there. I have a question. I've had water in my yard all summer long. And I wanna know if the water is backing up into my yard.
So I think, because I know where you live, Art, and you are on the north side of there's a ridge on that property. So the drainage pattern at your property is water heading to the south. There's a ridge that the water flows down a hill. So all these properties facing to the south, they're looking up a hill. So where this is draining to is actually to the north, not to the south towards your property.
I just, well, see, I wanna know if it's backing up over the hill.
Yep, I understand. Tony, tell me if I'm wrong, but where this will collect and drain to is ultimately. to
Yeah,
the
no,
north.
you're correct. I just don't know where, exactly where he lives, whatever, so, yeah.
I can show you.
But that's, that sounds accurate.
Roughly, I can show you.
And whether it's irrigation, irrigation water or groundwater, yeah, usually, when you have a street and you have properties with, ground at higher elevation on one side and lower on the other side. The area that's problematic to the subgrade and the pavement itself is that groundwater migrating from higher ground to lower ground across that subgrade of the pavement. So usually, yeah, where you want to put subdrains is on the street on the high side. The lower side is draining, the groundwater is moving away from the street in that direction, so it's.
Well, if you got a water problem, wouldn't the water back up?
Not up the hill. It's probably gonna go to that detention pond that's down there before it goes to your house.
And give us some trouble with the road too.
So where the circle is in the general area, are you on Linden Lane? Which,
I'm on Redwood Drive.
One west of.
I have
west of
I
that?
have a bean field right next to
Yeah.
my yard.
Mhm.
Yeah, we know where
So-
you live.
So Tony, I believe the drainage from this area along here all goes to the south. I'm just thinking, because I remember it was within my first couple years here, we had drainage issues out there, the water coming off of that field, heading onto those
Yeah.
streets.
Yeah.
And so that's why I just remember being on that road and looking up that hillside of the farm field. I know the properties on High Road. If you look out their back windows, they're looking up a hill.
Well, also like on Aspen, they have water running down the street on there too.
Yep.
I guess I feel pretty confident in saying the water being collected by this subdrain and the project that's being discussed right now
Well,
is not part of the drainage near your home.
this is the first year I had it like that.
We had a lot of rain.
A lot of rain.
We've had a lot of rain. I got some puddles in my backyard too.
I'm just asking.
Fair, that's fair.
Yeah, knowing where he lives, I'm confident this project will not have a negative impact to his property, nor will it have a positive impact.
That was a good clarification for Art.
That's a political
Art got
answer,
up
if I ever heard one. Any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll close public hearing at 7:12 PM. Item 7B is a resolution approving plan specification, form of contract and estimate of cost for the West High Road subdrain retrofit project. So we just had a public hearing for this project. And this is the first of 3 resolutions needed to get the project going. Council passed a resolution that approved the preliminary plan specs, form of contract and estimate for this new project. This resolution is the final approval of all of those. Luke, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, any discussion from the council?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Cool, seconded by Meineke. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kayla, would you call roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7C is resolution awarding contract for the West High Road subdrain retrofit project. So this is the second of 3 resolutions needed to start the project. This resolution awards a contract to TK Concrete for $192,458. Luke, anything else?
No.
Okay, any discussion or question with council or public input? Make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Baker, seconded by Meineke. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kayla, would you call roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7D is resolution approving the contract and bond for the West Side Road subdrain retrofit project. So this is the third and final resolution to get the project going. This resolution approves the contract and indicates how the city is going to pay TK Concrete for their work. Luke? Anything?
Nope.
All right, questions or discussion, council or public?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Baker, second by Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Caitlin, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes. So that's why I got an allergy going.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Item 7F is a resolution approving the official name of the parkland dedicated to the city within Shadow Creek and Saddle Ridge development. So this item is to name the new park that falls between Shadow Creek and Saddle Ridge. It's more like a green belt. The recommendation is to name the park Reed and Lynn Park, which I believe is a good recognition for Doc Ron and the Ron family. Shanice, you got anything to add?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any discussion or question from council or public comment?
No, I really like it. It's really classy.
Mhm. Sounds nice, yeah.
Agreed. I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Meineke, seconded by Baker. Kayla, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
Yeah.
All right, motion carries. Item 7G is a resolution approving the 28E agreement between the city of Norwalk and Warren County regarding primary law enforcement responsibilities. So the city of Norwalk is going to be responsible for providing law enforcement within the annexation area. However, we're not quite set up for that yet, since it's a rural area. So we're going to contract with the sheriff's department to have them continue servicing the annexation area that they're already providing service to. I know council understands what is in the area being annexed, but I'd like to repeat it for citizens. The annexation area is predominantly undeveloped agricultural land. There are some sections of the roadway, a couple of homes, but beyond that, it is simply undeveloped agricultural land. County produces very few law enforcement needs. Is there anything to add?
You nailed it. You're.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions from council? Ed, do you want me to wait?
Can't imagine.
I'm good.
Ed doesn't want to
I'm
talk
good.
about this. Please do.
Okay,
All right.
all right. Any discussion
No.
or public comment? All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. Yep.
Second, Ed got it.
Okay. Okay, motion by Baker, seconded by Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kayla, would you call roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
All right, maybe you could say like, if yes, raise your left hand. No, raise your- Item 7H, resolution accepting infrastructure and approving the final plat of Sunset Estates Plat 5. So Sunset Estates is an area between North Avenue and Legacy. Tony, everything looked good there for the infrastructure?
Yeah, we just had our final walkthrough on that project this week, and I was very pleased. Things finally dried up, so the grading looks good. All the public infrastructure and the paving looks good too. So our recommendation is to approve the final plat and accept the public infrastructure.
All right. Luke, you got anything to add?
Just details on it. We are, I believe, 33 lots. They're single family. Continue to extend that Sunset Estates development to the north. One phase closer to connecting up to High Road and providing a second outlet out of that legacy area.
All right, that'd be nice.
Sure.
Any discussion or question from council? or public comment? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Cool, seconded by Baker. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Caitlin, would you call roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7I is resolution accepting infrastructure and approving the final plat of Holland Point Plat 3. So Holland Point is an area, it's east of Highway 28, south of Beardsley. Tony, everything look good there?
Good there as well, same answer, at our walkthrough this week. Everything looks great, very few minor items on our punch list that we created. Those are taken care of, so. Same answer, recommend public, approval of, or acceptance of public infrastructure.
All right, Luke, what do you got?
44 single family lots in this, south of the existing single family on Holland Point. So we've got, that townhome area going to the west over by the pond, the higher density apartment townhome thing going off of Sayre, and then now some more single family going there. So lots of movement in the Holland Point area as of late. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Questions, discussion from council? Or public comment?
Maybe the same builders that's doing the rest of Hubble. Have you heard?
Yeah, I mean, Hubble usually has some, but I think they put some on the market too. So then
Yeah.
it's just a matter of
How
who
many
picks it up.
lots did you say we have in this one?
44.
Yeah, there's about 40, so Hubble is gonna be building 20 of those lots. And they believe they have one buyer for the rest.
Wow.
It hasn't been finalized yet, so but the word I'm getting is that most likely the next phase or the next plat will start very soon.
That's one buyer like Jerry's Homes, for
Yeah,
example.
I don't know,
or
yeah, and I don't know who it is yet.
Thanks.
Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, motion by Minneke, seconded by Cool. Any further discussions? Hearing none. Caitlin, would you call roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7J. It's the second reading of an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Norwalk, Iowa by rezoning 14.867 acres north of Blooming Heights from AR Agricultural Reserve to R160 Single Family Residential. So this is the Kuchar property to the north of Blooming Heights. Looks like they'll extend Redbud Street to get into the property. Luke, anything to add?
Nothing new today.
All right, any discussion, questions from council? Any public comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Baker, seconded by Minneke to approve second reading. Any further discussion? Caitlin, would you call roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7K. I'm going to amend this just a little bit on the fly. So we're going to do the second reading of an ordinance amending chapter 177 rates and fees of the Norwalk Municipal Code, providing for amended fees for park and recreation basketball programs. Just as a sideline, we can't do the third, that we can't waive the third reading because we need at least four. We need to have
Yep.
four council members here.
Yep.
So due to the move, well, okay.
Second.
Motion, motion by Baker, seconded by Minneke. We'll just move this through.
We're efficient.
Yes, you are. Caitlin, would you call roll?
Councilmember Minneke.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
All right, motion carries. Item 8, future agenda items. So the purpose for this item is for council to give direction to staff via motion to have items placed on future agendas. It's not for the discussion of the merits of the subject matter. It's just to get it on a future agenda. Anything for tonight? Nope. All right, we'll move on. Item 9, council inquiries and staff updates. I'd like to remind everybody that this portion of the meeting is much less formal. You may hear some joking around and banter back and forth. We believe this can build camaraderie and cohesiveness between staff and council. So we'll start with Jim.
Nothing.
Brian.
Nothing.
George.
Nothing. Not very
Yeah.
funny yet, is it?
We had a meeting of Metro Waste and most of it was a briefing by our solicitors at the legislature. And it was their expectations of this next year, what may come. And also what has happened over this last year and how it affects us in the world of Metro. But I don't want to get too far in the weeds on it, but they said that property taxes, they expected would be addressed again in this legislature. And evidently there's some kind of a shooting match within the Republican Senate over that. So, anyway. That's it.
All right, thank you. Luke Paris.
Yeah, just one thing, I'm part of the Mid Iowa Planning Alliance, committee group and stuff, and at their last meeting, they talked about the potential of forming into a council of governments, which is something Central Iowa's not had in a long time. And so that group kind of decided that before they voted that MIPA should probably come make some presentations and talk with councils and stuff. So just look for that and be something they're going to request of us here in the future, some input on that. Council of Governments.
Yeah.
Long or short answer, I won't go long-winded. Short answer is it's just a collaboration of cities that all pay like the MPO, but rather than just focused on transportation, focused on all other issues. So it provides access to funds and grants and
Is that
lots of
different
that
than
stuff.
Metro Advisory Committee and Metro? I mean, we've got a bunch of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does tend to benefit smaller communities rather than
Right.
a Norwalk. It would provide funds for like a Martinsdale to be able to do a comp plan.
It's more in the rural areas.
Right. Yeah.
Southwest Iowa version for that.
Yeah, there's colleges all across the state except for Central Iowa. So
All right, Carrie.
Nothing tonight.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for the card, Jerry. That's pretty thoughtful.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
My 25th birthday's coming up.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Tony.
Nothing else from me, man.
All right, Chief.
I wanted to provide an update on the Safe Haven Baby Box. The equipment is in and contractors have been secured, permits have been pulled. It looks like they're going to start the installation of that on the 8th. Is that what I wrote down here? I'm so sorry, I just went blank on that. Oh, the 2nd, after the holiday. So they're planning to start on that. I anticipate us having that up and going in about 30 days. So we'll do official press releases and ribbon cuttings and all of that, but that project is moving forward. The end of July, I attended ICS 300 at Polk County Emergency Management. I've been working diligently on our emergency operations plan. It's been a long time coming and I'm really nearing completion with that. I've additionally been trying to find some training for council on the instant command system. I've been working with Miranda with Warren County Emergency Management. There's a class specifically for elected officials. If we can't make that one happen, then there is a potential for some online options. I think it's important that as elected officials, you understand your positions in the instant command system if we need to activate that. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Major.
Had a ice cream social for ELL students tonight, before the council meeting. I was there for a little bit and having games and ice cream and all the good stuff. So they're having a good time there. Reminder, back to school is Monday. Hopefully optimistic that Cherry will be open by then. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
It could be interesting for people to navigate, but talked to Joe via email and he was doing a walkthrough today and he anticipates that those barricades on Cherry coming down hopefully before Monday. Fingers crossed. If anybody's lucky on gambling things, if you want to put a wager, it's done. I would sure appreciate it. I think there's gonna be some confused drivers if we don't. So other than that, she's back tomorrow. So looking forward to that too.
Good. Gene.
Nothing. Thank you.
Holly.
Hi, I won't go through all of the projects because it's in the monthly report that's in your packets. But as always, feel free to reach out with questions or if you want to meet, talk through those. I would just say to back up the mayor on our initiative with, well, two different initiatives. the Bucky's petition. If you have not signed it, if you have not sent it out on your social media or to friends and family, please do so. We also have just paper formats of the petition if people want to sign that way instead of going through the change.org or the QR code. We have those available at City Hall. And that project is a big deal because it will take a Bucky's type of a project or that size to open up that interstate interchange there at Fillmore. So it is a big deal to us. And then also please vote one more day to get us into the next round for the Iowa League of Cities Community Choice Award for the Norwalk Central Project. So we've been sending that out and it's on social media. So please help the mayor with his initiatives on this. Thank you.
Emily, would it, just recently I've had more and more people ask, where on earth in Norwalk would this Bucky's fit? Highway 5 just doesn't seem to fit.
Oh, no, it would go out to,
Yeah. Can
sorry.
we, I know Ty has sent that out, I thought, but maybe we could do it again.
To get the Bucky's petition out. Yeah, they would have to go out to I-35.
Oh, absolutely. But that, I mean, I just, these questions that it makes no sense and.
I'll put that in my mayor's moment.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, everybody reads that.
Facebook or anything that works. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Anissa.
We have no updates.
All right. Thank you. Jean.
Just a couple things. The Library Foundation is honored to have been selected by the 100 Men of Norwalk for the quarterly give, and we will be getting some funding to replace a lot of our technology for children and teens, and so we're pretty excited about that and very grateful to them for that. And we also got notified that we are the recipient of a grant from the Association for Rural and Small Libraries. And our teen services librarian, Catherine Shook, ran it through me. I liked it a lot. We could max out at $5,000 for the grant, and she wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do with it. So she requested half of that amount, and the grantors liked it so much they gave her the full $5,000 and said run with it. So we're excited about that. She's planning on doing a series of band book club activities with the teens, and then also taking a group of them to a statewide conference so that they can present on their activities here in Norwalk.
Cool.
It's cool. We're excited.
All right. Good deal. Thank you. Kaylin.
Nothing.
Lindsay.
The wall, if you've not been by, which I hope you've all been by, but I think it's
Yeah.
great.
That was fantastic.
Yeah. So, and they will start on columns all at once after the wall itself is done. So it'll continue to look fantastic. I think that's all I have.
I just drove by there today coming into town, and I need to go out and take a picture because where you feel about the Lakewood office, because the one wall's done and the other side is not started yet.
Yeah.
And it's,
Kind of funky right now.
it really makes how different it makes the
Mhm.
place look. And
Yeah.
so if anybody ever questions it, you just hand them the picture and go, you tell me.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before and after.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Just have a few items first. I know that council, you're aware of this. Robin Leeper, our Parks and Recreation Director, we've been working with her. She announced her retirement. Her last day is the 22nd, which is tomorrow. So we're very sad to see Robin go to retirement, but at the same time, very happy for her that she's making that choice. It's also, it makes me feel good that I got a text from Robin. And she said she adds inflation numbers to her CIP items that end up in one dedicated individual. So I apologize. I said, shoot, I didn't see your text message. I didn't say shoot, I said something else, but I told her I didn't see your text message, but I would pass that along. So she does add inflationary numbers to her projects. Thanks, Robin. So as a follow-up to that, we've been having some conversations with Shawnisa, and she is going to take over the interim role as Parks and Recreation Director. As we begin our search, we would imagine that'll probably take several weeks. When we do a department head level search, that takes some time, and she is up for the challenge. So she's gonna start that as of Monday, and then we'll be coming to council to carry through some of the same things we've done with other interim roles, where we look for somebody to have their salary compensated for that time that they fill the role. So that'll be coming to council for that approval early in September. And then, let's see, those are the only things I have.
Okay. The only thing I have is, and I'll mention it because Holly didn't, is that at the north end of Highway 28, just south of the Highway 5 bridge, you'll start noticing some construction on the new Norwalk sign. So it is starting.
Hey.
All right, that's all I had. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. Okay, motion by Cool, seconded by Meineke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Oh, we're adjourned, 7:33 PM. I only got one eye.
Right.
Yeah, I know it.
I only got one vote.